So, welcome to Jumbo IS and welcome to our lecture series called Daily MCQ Practice. In this lecture series, we cover a particular day's current affairs through a set of 4 to 5 MCQs. Now, in today's lecture, to be covered 2 days current affairs, that is 11th and 12th April, through a set of 5 MCQs. Now, needless to say this, because I have repeated that again and again at the beginning of every lecture, that this lecture series has a twofold purpose. We want you to revise your current affairs because current affairs are very important for your prelims exam this year. And what better way to revise your current affairs than by getting the much needed MCQ practice? Because MCQ practice on a daily basis through this lecture series would add up to more than 1200 MCQs. Now, 1200 MCQs are more than sufficient for your current affairs. Okay, I'm just talking about current affairs, not static portion like polity, economics, and others. Just current affairs, 1200 MCQs for that is more than sufficient. So make this lecture series a daily habit of yours. All right, let's begin today's session with question number 1. Consider the following statements regarding Malabar grey hornbill. It is a hornbill species that is endemic to Malabar coast of Karnataka and Kerala. The bird species prefers sandy beaches like ecosystem as its habitat. It is categorized as vulnerable in IUCN Red List and Schedule 1st of Wildlife Protection Act. How many of the above statements are correct? Now, Malabar grey hornbill is a hornbill bird species which is found in Western Ghats. Okay? Western Ghats of, Kerala and Tamil Nadu. Western Ghats and associated hills which are related to Western Ghats or are extensions of Ghats like Nilgiri Hills. Okay? Then Anamalai Hills, which has the highest peak, Anamudi. Okay? So these are the places where Malabar grey hornbill is found. It is not found on the coastal lines of Karnataka and Kerala, but the forests, dense evergreen forests of Western Ghats found in Kerala and Tamil Nadu. So first statement is false. Now, this bird species prefers sandy beaches like ecosystem as its habitat? Not at all. The habitat preferred by this bird species is dense evergreen forests, which are found in Kerala, Western Ghats of Kerala and Tamil Nadu. Okay. Sometimes these bird species are also found in coffee plantations, coffee, rubber plantations. Okay. So this is its habitat, not sandy beaches. So this statement is also false. Now, this bird species is categorized as vulnerable in IUCN Red List. This part is absolutely correct. But it is not put in Schedule 1st of Wildlife Protection Act. Actually, it is put in Schedule 4th of Wildlife Protection Act. Okay, so this statement is also false. So no statement is correct. The answer is none. That is D. Question number 2. Consider the following regarding color-coded industrial classification based on pollution. Industries are categorized into white, green, orange, and red based on their score on pollution index. Pollution index score is between 0 to 100 based on the following parameters: effluents, emissions, hazardous waste generation, and resource consumption. Central Pollution Control Board and State Pollution Control Boards have authority to classify industries. Okay. So in 2016, Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change basically came out with a framework through which different types of industries would be categorized or would be given color classification. Okay, categorized into different colors, 4 colors, based on the pollution levels caused by them. Okay, now these colors are white, green, orange, red. White are clean industries, green are relatively clean industries, orange are moderately polluting industries, and red industries are the most polluting industries. Okay. Now, these industries are given allocated these categories based on the score they get on pollution index. Okay, so first statement is absolutely correct. Okay, now pollution index is a score given to each industry, and this score is between 0 to 100. Okay, now if the score is between 0 to 20, then you are categorized as white. If it is from 21 to 40, then it is green. If it is 41 to 59, then it is orange. And if it is more than 60 to 100, then it is red. Now, this pollution index is itself based on 4 indicators. Number of or the amount of effluents emitted into the nearby rivers or surface water resources, so causing water pollution. Then air pollution through emissions, hazardous waste generation like toxic waste generation, and amount of resources, ecosystem resources consumed. Based on these four parameters, you're given a score, and based on your score, you're given a particular color category. Okay, so this statement is also correct. Now, Central Pollution Control Board and State Pollution Control Boards have been given the authority to basically allocate this color category to a particular industry. Okay, they have the authority to classify industries. This part is also correct. Okay, so all statements are correct. The answer is D. All right. Question number 3. Consider the following statements regarding Jyotiba Govindrao Phule. He is known as father of Indian social revolution who founded Satya Shodhak Samaj to counter caste discrimination and gender biases. His famous book, Annihilation of Caste, promoted the idea of casteless society. He opened India's first girls' school in 1848, in which his wife Savitribai Phule became India's first female teacher. All right. Now, well, April 11th, well, the birth anniversary of the great social reformer from Maharashtra in 19th century, who is Jyotiba Govindrao Phule, also known as Mahatma Jyotiba Phule. Now, he is known as the father of Indian social revolution because he did a lot of work to prevent caste discrimination, to prevent gender discrimination, to improve the plight of agricultural laborers, farmers, peasants, and other industrial laborers also. Okay, so he did a lot of work to uplift the disadvantaged sections of society. Okay, that is why he is also known as the father of Indian social revolution, because he was one of the first social reformers who came from so-called backward caste but worked towards uplifting the caste discrimination or uplifting these disadvantaged sections. For that, in 1873, he found Satya Shodhak Samaj, which actually worked towards uplifting disadvantaged sections of society, okay, which includes women as well. So, first statement is correct. Now, his famous book, Annihilation of Caste, promoted the idea of casteless society. The problem is that he didn't write Annihilation of Caste. Annihilation of Caste was written by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, okay, who drafted our constitution. So this statement is false. Though he wrote a number of other books, for example, he wrote his famous book Gulamgiri, which actually compared the civil rights movement of African slaves in USA and lower castes in India. So he compared the two communities basically. Okay, Gulamgiri. Then he also he also published Deen Bandhu newspaper, and he also wrote other works as well. Okay, so Annihilation of Caste is not his work, that is Dr. B.R. Ambedkar's work. Now, he is also credited with working a lot towards women empowerment and women education. He opened India's first girls' school, okay, in 1848, along with his wife Savitribai Phule, who became India's first female teacher in that school. So that was a big thing back in 1848, when many families in India, well, did not educate their daughters. Okay, so this is also correct. 1 and 3 are correct. The answer is C. Question 4. Consider the following statements regarding startup ecosystem in India. India has the third largest startup ecosystem in the world with more than 100 unicorns. Most of Indian startups are deep tech based, unlike the startups of USA and China, which are more consumer centric. India's internet penetration is lower than USA and China, but has higher number of absolute internet users as compared to USA and China. Which of the above statements are correct? Now look, this part is absolutely correct, that India has the third largest startup ecosystem in the world, the largest being in USA, then China, and then India. Okay? India has more than 100 unicorns. Unicorns are those startups which have a market valuation of minimum $1 billion. Okay, so India has more than 100 unicorns or startups that have a market valuation of more than $1 billion. So this statement is correct. Now the thing is, recently India's Commerce Minister, Piyush Goyalji, he basically criticized Indian startups, saying that Indian startups mostly consumer centric, like food delivery apps, cab apps, e-commerce apps, right? They're not based on deep technologies, okay? Deep tech based. They're not deep tech based because deep tech based startups require a lot of scientific research and development, scientific know-how, and scientific research related funding also. So Indian startups are not that deep tech based, they are more consumer centric, whereas startups in USA and China are, well, there are consumer-centric startups in USA and China as well. There are also enough deep technology, deep tech startups in USA and China. So it's actually the opposite. Indian startups are more consumer-centric, okay? So this is false. Now, India's internet penetration is lower than USA and China. Yes, USA's internet penetration is around 80 to 90%. Okay. China's internet penetration is round about 75%. India's internet penetration is round about 65%, but it is closely approaching 70%. Okay. So our internet penetration is lower than USA and China. But because our population is quite high, so when we talk about absolute number of internet users, well, we have more number of internet users than USA. Of course, because USA's population is lower than that of India. But China also takes the lead in terms of absolute number of internet users as far as India is concerned. Okay, so India has absolute number of internet users more than USA, but not more than China. Okay, so this statement is also false. The correct answer is B, only one. And last, but definitely not the least, which of the following are correct regarding thorium-based small modular reactors? SMRs are smaller, more compact nuclear reactors with maximum power generation capacity of 30 megawatt per unit. Thorium-based SMRs use thorium as fuel, which is readily fissile material and has higher energy density than uranium. India has 25% of the world's thorium, and thus these reactors reduce India's reliance on uranium imports for nuclear fuel. Okay, so recently Maharashtra state government and Russia did an MOU, okay, under which that Russian nuclear agency or company will build thorium-based small modular reactors. Now, small modular reactors are smaller versions, smaller, more compact, easily assemblable nuclear reactors as compared to large conventional reactors. Okay, so SMRs are smaller, more compact nuclear reactors. They are more safe also, and they do not generate that much nuclear waste also. Okay, now the maximum power capacity of these SMRs is 300 megawatt per unit, not 30. 30 would be very low. Okay, so this is false. Now, mostly small modular reactors require uranium as fuel. But if you build a thorium-based small modular reactor, then that would use thorium as fuel. Now, thorium is basically not fissile. It does not readily undergo nuclear fusion. First, thorium has to be converted into uranium 233, an isotope of uranium. This process is known as transmutation. So in thorium-based small modular reactors, you first use thorium as fuel. This thorium is transmutated into uranium-233, and then uranium-233 is fissile. So this undergoes nuclear fission and produces nuclear energy. So thorium-based SMRs use thorium as fuel, which is readily fissile? No. Thorium is called fertile because it can be converted into fissile material. Okay, so this statement is also false. Now, the reason why India is focusing on thorium-based SMRs, despite the fact that uranium is a better fuel than thorium, because uranium is readily fissile. Okay, it undergoes nuclear fission and produces energy. For thorium, you have to transmutate it to uranium, then you produce nuclear energy. Then why is India focusing so much on thorium-based SMRs if thorium is an inferior quality of fuel than uranium? The thing is that if India produces or uses uranium as fuel, India does not produce enough uranium. And for uranium, India is import dependent. But when it comes to thorium, India has the largest reserves of thorium in the world. India has 25% of the world's thorium, which is found in the monazite coastal sands of Tamil Nadu and Kerala. Okay, 25% of world's thorium. So if we somehow manage to use thorium as a fuel for nuclear energy, we will become self-reliant. We won't be dependent on any country for fuel, nuclear fuel. Okay, so third statement is absolutely correct. The answer is C, only 3. And with that, we conclude today's session. Thank you so much for watching, everyone, and I'm sure it has added value to your preparation. But like I say this every time at the end of the lecture, it would add more value if you revise this lecture as well. And by revision, I mean taking another 5 to 10 minutes, taking a look at well-written detailed solutions to each and every MCQ discussed above. Now, these solutions are provided in our notes, and these notes are available on our Telegram platform. The link to our Telegram channel is provided in the comment section below this video. You just have to click on that link. It'll take you to our Telegram channel, and from there you can download the notes for this lecture and do the necessary revision. And on that note, I would be signing off with the promise of seeing you again with another set of MCQs. Thank you, everyone.